We're live. All right. Um, I got a new trailer. Let me play my new trailer real quick.
If you are looking for fit for expedition,
If you're looking for fit for expedition,
If you're looking for fit for expedition,
If you're looking for fit for expedition,
And if you're looking for fit for expedition,
if you're looking for fit for expedition, you found him.
Hello, Funseekers. I hope there's no feedback here because I still have Marshall over on the other screen. I think the audio is off, so let me know if you hear anything weird. And I want to welcome you to the second course of our First Fridays Live. Thanks, Marshall, for opening up and setting up the appetizer. And then, of course, we'll be over at Ron Sees America for the pineapple upside down cake. That's what we're going to be there for. Okay, so it's been a couple months since I have done a live stream. I see Kenny just popped up in the basement, so that's cool. And that's because we were traveling around a lot. And our guest today is going to be someone who travels around a lot, but she keeps working all the time. So, and so this has been a couple months. I've probably been traveling about a third of the time and working on the truck. That's really what it is. It's mostly working on the truck. So I'd also like to mention real quick, this is my plug. I have a second channel now for the abandoned stuff that was on this channel. I'm going to be putting most of it on this other channel called The Abandoned Southwest. So if somebody could put a link in the chat for The Abandoned Southwest, that would be really cool. Because I pinned at the top of the chat the link to Ron's for when we're done here in another 38 minutes. And so I didn't want to pin it up there. I wanted to leave Ron's up there. So let's see. Are you aware that there is a big controversy brewing today? Today is National Donut Day. And I just found out there's actually two National Donut Days. There's one on November 5th and one today. Do you think we should just enjoy donuts on those 2 days, or maybe we should protest or something? Let me know. I'd love to know. Now, I have the YouTube chat going over here on the other computer. I can see it, but I'm going to probably, while Bunny and Kenny are on here, I'll probably be ducking over to the other screen just to catch up here and there. So let's see. Oh, this was kind of cool today. Campendium. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Campendium or if you watch that at all. I mean, receive their emails at all. They just put out their top 5 national parks for wheelchair accessibility. And I thought Kenny might be interested in this. And the number 1 on the list just happens to be the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is right there in Tennessee in Kenny's backyard. So I'm going to find out what Kenny thinks of that. Hey, Kenny.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
It's been a while. We were like, attached at the hip, and you've been on every live stream that I've done except for maybe the second and third one a year ago, and that's it. Every other one you've been on. So kind of felt, kind of missed you.
Yeah, I miss doing these with you.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that? The Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Have you been there?
I have been. I have been to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've actually been. I don't think I've been to Anakista. Is that the same thing?
I don't know. I bet you Bunny would probably know.
But I've been to Anakista, and I've been to Dollywood, but I don't think I've ever actually been to I don't think I've ever actually been straight into the
park?
national park though.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I hear everybody talk about where they've been, and I feel like I've never been anywhere. Every time I hear somebody else talk about it, let me play a little thing for to thank my members, and it's I only have 3 members. It's Sharon Lewis, Marshall Nomadic Adventures, and Tim Mobang Fight Your Bucks, and they've been members pretty much since the beginning. So. Thank you. And in a minute, we're going to find out more about the bunny sphere. I just found that on her website. Bunny sphere. But first, let's play the first trivia question. Kenny, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So the choices are A, B, C, or D.
Okay,
And I'm going to ask all 3 questions, unless you want to ask this one. You have to change the wording a little bit.
I changed the wording a little bit.
Yeah, because it's in first person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Over the 2021-2022 New Year's weekend, my channel Fit for X.
My channel. It's okay.
Yeah. Greg's channel. Fit for Expedition, joined by Marshall of Nomadic Adventures, Steve of Desert Adventures in Arizona, and Ron of Ron Sees America held a meetup. The question is, where was that meetup held? Is it A, Slab City, California? B, Las Vegas, Nevada? C, Ironwood Forest National Monument, Arizona? Or D, Quartzsite, Arizona?
It's a big time lag in the YouTube this time.
It looks like I see Land Cloud Adventures has come in there with the correct answer first.
Okay, and we go with Kenny's YouTube because for some reason it shows up differently on other people's YouTube. So
yeah,
he's the judge, jury, and executioner, and he's the judge of this.
But see, Griswold come in there and said it second, and Michelle Leonardo come in there.
Okay, so are you keeping a tally of these? Because there were 3 on Marshall's, and then this one. Are you keeping score?
I don't have anything to write it down on.
Do you remember who won on Marshall's?
It was Griswold and Fairy Dust. Those were the 2.
Okay, I think Griswold won twice. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna play my other trailer real quick, and then we're gonna bring Bunny up, and it should be great. Get set, go. Bunny.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I am good. So there is a lag, and I'm still watching your trailer on my computer, but I totally saw it here too. I like it.
Yeah, that's my old trailer. And there's people in there that I haven't even talked to for like a year, but they're still best friends. You know what I mean? Like I just every time I see them, it's like we just pick up like we're great friends again. The guy that's in that with me at that abandoned drag strip, he's like my best friend from high school.
Oh,
So
cool. Very
yeah,
cool.
and he still lives in Tucson. So introduce yourself to anybody who doesn't know you, and also can somebody drop Bunny's link in the chat? It would be awesome. Thanks.
I'm Bunny. I travel. I've been on the road for about 5 years. I travel about 75% of the year, and I go to all sorts of crazy places and kind of talk about it on my YouTube channel.
So is Anarchista the great? Great.
So Anarchista is part of the Gatlinburg area, and so you're just like bordering. Like, I only know this because I looked up drone laws in Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg is literally surrounded on all sides by the Smoky Mountains. So technically, to get to Gatlinburg, you have driven through a piece of the Smoky Mountains. So you have been there. You just didn't know it.
Okay, there you go, Kenny. You've been there. But you can't. But apparently, you don't know how accessible it is because you didn't even know that you were there. So you'll have to go back.
Yeah.
I want to know, Bunny, where you got your nickname, Bunny, because I know that's not your real name. I don't know if anybody else does, but
so I have always been Bunny. I grew up in a small town, and our small town mascot was the Jackrabbit. And I was the mascot. So I have always been a bunny in some capacity. And whenever I got older, people still referred to me as that for some random reason. And so I was just like, fine. We will use this, and we will take this darkness and turn it into light and totally own it and just kind of make it fun. And it's a really unique way to camouflage my government name so that it keeps me a little bit safer on the road, but at the same time, it's super fun. I call it my Jesus name, my government name. Either way,
yeah,
it's what my mama gave me.
I think it's a good name.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun with it. So, and it gives me all of these interesting little like interludes that I can work with they're bunny based. So it's like, yay!
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of playful and happy and you hop from place to place, so it kind of works,
The only bad thing is whenever I first started out in a small car, and I put my branding on it because I was like, oh yeah, yay, I'm going to brand it. And there's something about like my first trip I took with one of my best female friends that I've known for like ever. And there's something about two women driving around in a car that says bunny on it really big that people just like awkwardly interpret it. And then they're like curious. But at the same time, they don't want to ask. They just kind of glare at you like, And so I would find myself in very peculiar situations having to explain my name. And so that's why whenever I made my new signs that I currently have, I made sure it said travel.
Yeah.
People would get it because that was a nightmare. And at one point, I questioned all of my judgment because of that name. But it's okay. It's okay.
So you were in a small car, but were you staying in hotels or were you actually sleeping in the car?
No. For the first 3 years, I tent camped everywhere that I went. So I would drive wherever I was going, and then I would set up my tent, and then I would break it down at night or the next day, and then I would do it all over the next day. And I did that for the first 3 years of traveling. And then I went to the Pacific Northwest and realized that I couldn't stay in a tent in some places because, bears. And then also it was so soggy. I was always packing a wet tent, and it made me insane. So I was like, we need other solutions for this. This is not working. It made my family feel a lot better when I got into the van.
So is that your first van?
It is my first van.
Okay.
I had been driving around. I had two cars that I traveled with in. The first one I had was a Chevy Sonic. It was great. It was compact, got super good gas mileage. It got struck by lightning. I was not in it, thank goodness. But I had to get something different, and I went with the Nissan with nothing electronic in it because all of the issues that happened with the Sonic were as a result of all the electronics. And so I had like the manual locks and the manual windows that everybody looks at whenever you go to valet somewhere, and they're like, how do I click it? Right. And so I did that, but that made me a believer in Nissan. And that's why I went with my particular van, is because I had so many great adventures. The Nissan customer service was amazing. And I knew I wanted to purchase new. And if you purchase a new Nissan, it has 100,000 mile warranty on everything. And so I was like, that is good for someone like myself who is traveling because I can get it fixed anywhere. So
of course, nowadays, 100,000 miles is just kind of like breaking in the vehicle, isn't it?
Right.
It seems like it.
My car, I put 90,000 miles on. We still have the car. My mom drives it as her daily driver now. And I was just like, I've already put 37,000 miles on the van. And it just feels like just another typical Tuesday, like no big deal.
this box truck has 280,000 miles on it.
Nice.
And it runs good. It runs great. So I'm just gonna keep driving. We're just gonna put a new engine in it. We've already put the whole interior in it, so you gotta.
I mean, at some point though, like the value of taking care of it and just like doing those things, it doesn't outweigh the cost of the value that you have in it already. And so like my parents' van is a used van and it has a higher mileage, but it's a diesel, so it's going to get more miles. And then also they took pretty decent care of it whenever whoever had it. So it runs good, sounds good, and it has a few less electronics because it's a 2006, so it's easier to replace some of those things.
Definitely. This is an 03, so it has a lot less of electronics. Also, I was checking out your website today, and I like this. Now, I don't know how long ago it's been since you've revamped your website, because some people have websites and they don't look at them after they set them up.
Updates.
What's that?
I need to do some updates.
Yeah, but no, I like this because you wrote what started out as a bucket list trip turned into a lifestyle.
Absolutely. And
so
that is such a truth. When I started out, I kind of talk about my story randomly here and there, but one of the things that I was doing was I was like a lot of people. I had a regular job that was very stressful, and it shouldn't have been stressful, but it was in customer service, and I was just up to like here with it. And I had gotten to the top of where I could go, and so I was just kind of there. And there wasn't anything else I could do, but I could never get a day off. And I was always stressed out, and it started to really affect like my well-being, my health, things like that. And so I had an opportunity to work with a company that was a temporary job that lasted about 6 months, and I took it on kind of like I need to do something different. And it changed really the way I viewed things. And so after I was finished with that job, I gave myself the opportunity to say, okay, what else do I want to do? And I wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. That was the main thing I wanted to do. And I didn't know anything else about what I wanted to do. So I built a trip around going to the Grand Canyon. And the most economical way for me to do that was to stay in a tent. And so that's when my friend and I took off, and we went for 2 weeks through the entire Southwest. And I always tell people somewhere around the Grand Canyon, we'd been to so many different places already, and I'd been like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. But somewhere around the Grand Canyon, I knew that was what I was going to do. And it made sense. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, I am not meant to just sit and stew in my disdain for what I'm doing all the time to the point that it is affecting my health. I need to do something for myself for a change. And it turned into a passion project, and I made it work. And a lot of people, I think, doubt themselves in doing big jumps. And so that's why I always am like, do it, but do it responsibly. So that's what I did, and it really did.
Well, a lot of people don't realize they have the option. You know what I mean? They don't even see it. It's
absolutely,
and it's not necessarily this lifestyle. It could they just don't see any options. Period.
Exactly. I mean, so many people who don't understand that they are the ones who limit themselves. And whenever you talk to them in person, you can just see like the defeat in them because they think that's all that they can do. And they don't have the resources or means, they think, in order to enable themselves to do other things. But if they looked at the skills that they do physically have, they can do so many other things with those skills than what they're doing. And so I just like to try to like, hey guys, no, you can do it. You can. I promise you can. Because is living in a tiny van for everybody? Absolutely not. But is doing something different than what makes you sad, grumpy, or upset? Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth every minute.
You know, it's funny when you put two people into a vehicle, it's kind of like you need 3 times as much space. You know what I mean? Because you're walking over each other and all around each other. But when there's one person, you don't need very much space. You know what I mean? It works out pretty well. Hey, let me do the second trivia question because we only have 20 minutes. We're already halfway through. So, okay. Kenny, you want to ask the second question?
Where was it that I first...
Me.
I'm at Greg now. That Greg first met Buddy in person? Was it A, Courtside, Arizona, B, Ethernburg, Arizona, C, Flagstaff, Arizona, D, Tucson, Arizona?
And Bunny's sitting here going, I don't remember. No, just
I know. I remember. I remember.
okay, you're getting the answers.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're watching it, let me ask Bunny something else, because I saw that you have 694 videos on your channel.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yes. Some of them are not visible to everyone though, but they're all there. Because some of them are pre-scheduled for my traveling when I know I'm not going to have Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Yeah. How long have you been on YouTube?
I've been on YouTube for 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
I didn't have an upload schedule that was like regular until I want to say 2020. I really buckled down and made myself have an upload schedule. And then since then I have added to that upload schedule. So now I'm at 5 videos a week, which I realize is very insane.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I have enough energy to do it right now. So I might as well do it. And I love to show all of the places that I go. And there's just so many places. So I wanted to set my channel up so that I could, when I'm on the road, not only show the van life, which a lot of people do enjoy, but show as much of the country as I possibly can. Because I think that that's what motivated me to get started, was the places that are really physically out there. And the more that I show, the more that we grow.
Mm-hmm. You know, and you, I don't know if you actually rehearse. We talked about this a little bit before, but I don't know that it's different every time, I think. But I don't know if you actually will sit and look at like a pamphlet, and maybe you look something up online and then just kind of think about it and then rehearse maybe off to the side and then get on camera, because I know you're really good
most of the time
the narration.
It really throws me off. So most of the time I will be in the moment with you guys doing my video, and yeah, I might have 2 takes because I trip over my tongue because I get going too fast sometimes. But for the most part, like if I'm in a place, I just kind of absorb the information and then I share it in a user-friendly way. And there's not really a lot of time from sign to whatever comes out of my mouth.
Okay.
A lot of times it's like I was talking to you whenever we were at Bisbee, and I said, if I get a line, I'm going to screw it up. I can't do it. But if I can just go off the cuff, I can sit there and I can talk. And I know that.
I gave you a line, and it's in the intro. Yeah.
Right. The line that you gave me, it was much more complicated for me to process that than for me just to be like, hey, look, it's Greg. What's up? Hi.
I have to admit that saying the word "fit for expedition" is not the easiest.
It is the time.
And you could see it a couple of times in the intro, even, that people are like, "Fit for expedition," kind of looking off to the side, like, you know, they didn't know. Was that what it is? Hey, I just wanted to show everybody. I'm sitting inside of the box truck right now in Phoenix, and does that show up? It's 93 degrees inside. 93 degrees with 2 ACs running. 5,000 watt BTUs. I mean, 5,000 BTUs.
In Bisbee, did you meet the Aussie van man?
Yes, I did.
So
yes, he was hanging over in the parking lot where you guys were.
Yes, he's there too. And I was chatting with him the other day, and he was telling me how hot it was, and I was like, no,
not at all. There.
No, I am not going back until it is winter time. I will melt now. Arizona is now in the no zone.
Yeah, well, you don't want to come here in the sun. But Flagstaff is nice. I was just there a couple days ago, and it was 72 degrees.
And see, that's the thing. Flagstaff is always a little harder for me, though, because I don't know the area well enough. And I know that they did a lot of, like, clearing out of people for a while there. And the last time that I actually tried to stay in that area was when they were doing some of that. And they were like, no, you can't stay. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
I actually talked to a parking attendant.
Mm-hmm.
We had already stayed overnight in our truck in the street. And I just wanted to, I mean, you know, I told her, we stayed overnight. I was just kind of curious to see if it was okay. And she said they're not enforcing it. now.
Wow, that is a huge.
So it is the law. You're not allowed to do it, but they don't enforce it until I think they said April, because then they start getting snow and they
Okay,
have
that
to
makes
clear the
sense.
streets. So yeah, so that's
That
information out there.
I just know that when I was there when they were doing this, so I have learned through all of my random travels that typically the people who take advantage of the situation are the ones who kind of screw it up for everybody.
Yeah,
And I talked to someone at a local Walmart, and I wasn't even planning on staying there. I was just chit chatting with them to kind of get a feeler because I'd heard about the mass evictions.
yeah,
And the lady at Walmart was like, "We had someone camp here for 2 months and they wouldn't leave." And I was like, "That's why."
yeah,
Okay, I
yeah. There
understand
you
why
go.
they're sensitive about this now.
And they'll still let you do it at Cracker Barrel too. They'll let you camp there because I saw about 8 rigs there when I was there. So
Very
Kenny, you got the answer for the who answered that trivia question correct?
Looks like nomadic nanny. It said B.
Nomadic nanny. Okay, and we're going to be giving I don't know if Marshall covered this, but we're going to be giving. It's not a big prize, but it's a $20 Amazon gift card on Ron's live stream. So for the winner, so we're spreading out this trivia over the 3 live streams, and it's only 2 hours, so it's not like you're watching 3 hours or whatever. It's it's like watching a movie or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I have a question for you that it's kind of like interesting to me. I think it'd be interesting to everybody, but you made a coloring book.
Yes.
Tell
Actually,
me,
um,
what's that?
I actually have done a few. I just have different surnames that I publish under. So
Okay.
one of the things that I love to do is I love to be creative. I love to design. I have a background in graphic design. And so I decided that I wanted to do something kind of different. I got tired of looking for things with my van in it because nobody has an NV200. In fact, earlier today, I even told you I was looking for a reference point, and I have to watch UK channels. And the UK channels are a little bit different because their vans are different. So I just kind of gave up on finding it. And my dad made a comment one day that really kind of took root in my brain. He was like, "Well, you're going to have to make it if you can't find it." So I took it literally and I started making everything with NV200s. So I
Okay.
have my own shirts. I have a coloring book that has not just my van, but a few other van shapes that are kind of underrepresented vans. And I'm actually working on another one that has some other vans in it also because some people have asked me, "Well, is my van in there?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't have theirs."
Mm-hmm.
So I just want people to feel like they have stuff that they can actually identify with because a lot of times whenever we are looking for things, it might sound absolutely stupid to most of the world, but to us it matters. For example, box truck. My friend Dawn also has a box truck, So we were chatting
Mm-hmm.
one day and she was like, "Yeah, you just don't find things that are like cute with box trucks." So I was like, "Okay, we should make Dawn and everyone else who has a box truck some box truck merch."
Mm-hmm.
Just little stuff, but I try to keep
That's
it
true.
like where
Yeah.
it's still able to be accessed. Like I was looking at the prices that people charge for stuff and I was like, "Okay, that's fine, but why?"
Mm-hmm.
So I try to keep everything like super reasonable for everyone if they are interested in it and
I
that it
actually
gives them
noticed
some.
that when I was looking at stuff today on your site. Yeah.
Yeah, I try really hard to just like they give you a price point for which you have to print with your printing companies, and I just try to take the narrowest margin just to make it worth the fact that I designed it because that's not why I'm doing it. It's more so people can have stuff that makes them happy. And so I love to do quirky stickers that are of my stupid catchphrases that I have that I love that express who I am. And then silly things like I'll sit down with friends and we'll have like this random inside joke. And 45 minutes later, I'll be doodling, "Oh, let's do this."
It's a sticker. It's on their car. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just my little fun thing that I do. That's how I express who I am is through my awkward art. So,
Yeah. So
so the
and
coloring
but
book is part of that.
you have other books on your site too, right?
I
Some other
do.
books. Yeah.
Have a mileage log, mostly because I needed a mileage log, so I made one for myself. I have a couple of journals because I like to make notes and doodle anything that I think of that I'm like, "Ooh, I need that." I'm currently working on a planner, a travel planner, because a lot of people ask me frequently how I keep up with what it is that I'm doing and then how I work on my bucket list because I have a bucket list for every state. And so I have all these
And it
loose.
grows every day, right?
Yes, literally. And so I put together a book that allows people to have their version of a trip planner and a bucket list journal, and then also a how to plan your trip so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Because I have found that visuals are a big deal. And so one of the things that I do is I have a map and I put dots on the map of where things are. And when I'm planning to go someplace, I just kind of look to see which dots might be in the line. And I'm like, oh, I get to do all these things. Cool.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
that's
And
what I do.
it's nice to not always have it in a digital form.
Yes.
Kelly, my wife, she looks at the regular paper atlas when we're driving, because I
Okay.
drive all the time. She doesn't drive. So, she drives other vehicles that we have, but she doesn't drive this truck, and because
No.
yeah, and but she likes to have a regular atlas, and she likes to have a flyer or pamphlet, or you know what I mean, not have to look everything up on her phone. I mean, she's not even on Facebook,
I
which is
think it's
probably a great thing.
that. I kind of try to encourage people to have paper maps because there have been more than a few times that I have been in places where even if I had the Google map that I downloaded, I have gotten just beyond where the download was, and I'm like, oh no, now where do I go? Great. So having the paper map, I can just pull it out and be like, oh, there's a turn in like 4 miles. Cool. That's way easier. And then I'm not lost looking.
Right. Right. And that's what she does. She doesn't like to look at the Google Maps because you have to like scroll so far up on the phone to find the turn. But exactly right.
Yep.
You can just see it right there on paper. So that's cool. Hey, let's go ahead and do this last trivia question. Kenny, you ready?
Yes, sir.
I cut him off. Sorry, Kenny. So trivia question number 3.
Okay. What is my least favorite fruit? Is it A, pear, B, peach, C, orange, or D, avocado?
And this is actually Kenny's least favorite fruit. You already got the answer.
Land Cloud Adventures got it.
Everybody knows your least favorite fruit. Maybe some people may not know it's a fruit, but they know it's what your least favorite on that list is.
I honestly did not know that it was actually a fruit.
Yeah, it's actually a fruit. That's the trick question part. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, but you were talking. Okay, we were talking about how many videos you have on your channel and how long you've been on there. Is YouTube what you expected? I mean, like, have you noticed? Yeah, but have you noticed that you've made some like really long-lasting friendships from YouTube? I know you have. I think we are friends like
YouTube,
that. But we will be.
The things that whenever I went into YouTube, I was thinking, okay, this is a great way for me to share things with others, and people will see it. And at that point, that was kind of the surface of where I was. I was like, I just want people to see things that I'm doing because I can do this and they can do it. And then I started like deep diving into YouTube, and then it was like a way for me to like really help people. And that was where we went from there. But then I stopped traveling by myself and went to a van meetup. And that was like a whole different level of YouTube is now enabling me to meet people. And because of those people, I now have friends on the road. And that is cool. And I don't have to travel by myself or talk to myself all the time, because the one thing that I did notice is when you're in a regular job and it's normal and you can have lots of people and they're not going to ask you about your job. They're just going to talk to you about surface level things, and it's cool. But for some reason, when you do YouTube, people consider it different. And so they only want to talk to you about YouTube. But at the same time, you have all of these really relatable issues that no one relates to except for other YouTubers.
Yeah.
So getting together with people, you can sit there and you can be talking and be like, oh, wait, hang on, I need to B-roll. And YouTubers are going to be like, okay, cool, we get it. So I found that the more I hung out with people, the more I had genuine connections of people who actually also got it. And now I get to meet so many neat people. And going to the events, I get to meet even more people. And I love it because every person has such a cool story. And then you have the ability to talk to them that they might not have come up to and talked to you before. And I love that because I've had so many women, especially, who have felt empowered as a result of the things that they see on YouTube to go out and do things. In fact, there's a couple of them here in the room today. Hi, guys. And I love that they have felt confident enough to do that. And if I wasn't a person that they had seen on YouTube, they might not have come up to me just to share their story. And I love that I can talk to them about their story, and we're the same. We have similarities, and it builds bridges between people to communicate those things. And that is fabulous. I would have never got to meet you if I wouldn't have had YouTube. And I think
Yeah.
you and Kelly both are fabulous. And it's just so cool to be able to like have so many people out there that are just really neat people who have the same interest as you.
Yeah, and it's funny. Sometimes people will know you because from your YouTube channel, and they'll know you, but you don't know them at all. And you're kind of,
Right.
you know, because that's the way I felt when I met you the first time. Is like I've known you for 2 years, you know, a couple of years, but you actually knew who I was when I walked up. You actually knew who I was. It was kind of
Like,
cool.
of course, I know who you are. Hello, Greg.
Hey, just real quick, moderators, you should drop your links now. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to address the chat. I'm in the truck, and normally when I'm at my regular desk, I have the computers close enough and I can see everything. And then we only have 40 minutes, and that's the other part of it. But so yeah, moderators, drop your links, and Kenny, somebody needs to drop Kenny's link for sure. I don't know if anybody has. And okay, so
No, I
what's
haven't
that?
dropped mine, so
Yeah,
I
you should
haven't.
do that. We only have 4 minutes left. I do have another question, and that is, well, I have a couple more questions. I don't know if we'll get them both in, but
Fast. Power rush.
okay. So where do you see yourself in like 10 and 20 years?
I always look at that question, and my consistent answer is happy. That's it. I don't necessarily see myself doing anything specific. I don't want to push too far into like specifics because I think you set yourself up for failure if you only plan for one goal. So my goal is always happy, and wherever that takes me, that's where I want to go. And it's kind of a generic answer, but at the same time, it has a lot more depth to it, I think, than me being like, oh my gosh, I want to travel the world and then get upset if the world locks down again and I can't.
Yeah.
I would rather go with the flow and just wherever that takes me. And I just want to find the limit bit of success to take me in the direction of happiness.
That actually brings me to another question that you just said. Do you want to travel the world, or do you just want to travel the U.S.?
I do want to travel the world. I was wanting to go to Thailand when the world shut down, and then I was like, just kidding. So I have been very hesitant to take a stance toward moving in any direction outside of our bounds at this moment. I just think the world's a little weird right now, but I would like to. There's so many amazing things. I would like to go to a few places to do some like deep diving into some things within my family and stuff like that. Even I think it'd be cool to go to the that my family's from. That would be really neat. And then just to go eat around the world. Oh my gosh. Foodie. Hello.
Have you been anywhere else besides the
I
US?
have not.
Oh, really? Okay.
No. And it's super, super crazy because everyone I know is like, why haven't you been somewhere? And I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
It's lots of reasons, but I don't know is the best one.
But there's lots to see here. So, it's nice to see everything here too. So that's,
absolutely.
I've actually traveled to Europe a little bit, and I've spent a lot of time in Mexico and for work. And I really actually way prefer just like driving around and finding roadside attractions and abandoned stuff in the US. That's for me, but
yeah.
So let's see. Yeah. So I was going to ask Kenny about the scores, but he doesn't know. I actually wrote them down. So I actually have the scores from this segment. Bunny, what content do you have coming out, and is there anything that's coming out that you're like really excited about? And then we're going to be leaving in about a minute. So
I've done lots of changes to my van. I don't know if they will stay. Today was very traumatic, but it worked out, so we're okay. Other than that, I will be traveling to the Pacific Northwest and also Colorado this year, so I'll be traveling with Mountain House a bit. So very interesting things coming. We're going to go. So
yeah, I would like to talk to you more about the Mountain House thing, but we'll have to do it another time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and hey, I'm just asking if everybody's watching, if they could ring the bell on my channel, it'd probably help my channel.
Ding, ding,
ding, ding,
ding,
ding. Okay, well, hey, thanks everybody, and we're going to be going to Ron for some pineapple upside down cake for dessert. And do you know about Ron? Ron got stigma of being like a pineapple fan, and now everything is pineapples. Everybody, yeah. So, all right, it's 20 after, and I think we're actually done now.
Yep.
Kenny, did it just move over to the other one after Marshall was done? We got like 5 seconds.
You had to end your live stream to do the redirect, though.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time.